All right, so the last one of these you guys seem to quite enjoy, so we're going to do it again. I'm going to cook my dinner now before the next stream, and I'll take you right through the recipe. Hell yeah, let's go. What we need for this are some leeks, a lemon, some chili peppers, chicken stock, sage, rosemary, thyme, cumin, creme fraiche, and some lentils. So starting off, you want to wash your leeks because you can get like bits of dirt down up in here. This is quite old. I'm probably gonna have to trim this, but yeah, wash your leeks and then we'll get to chopping. Make sure you trim your leeks first because once you trim them, like get rid of all the leaves and stuff, you end up with this bit, and that can sometimes have dirt in it, and you don't want to eat dirt, do you? Now we want to cut these quite small, so the best way to do that is to cut down here and then flip it by a right angle and do the same again and then chop it down like that. Leeks in the pan, all good. Move on to our chili pepper. Now, we don't want the seeds from this thing, so we're going to de-seed it. The best way I usually find to do that is that if you cut down like along here, along the edge, you can kind of expose the seeds and then pull them all out. I'll show you how that goes. So if you cut down like this, then you can kind of open it up and then, we have one or two seeds here, but then we can like pull all this out and then slice it up nice. Or alternative, if you're lazy like me, you can cut around them too. You can skip the chili peppers if you don't like spicy food, but we are going to be adding like cream and quite a lot of other ingredients, and that little kick does shine through, so I do recommend adding one anyway. Chili peppers in. All right, so we've got some fresh thyme, some fresh rosemary, and some not so fresh sage. You can do all this with dried herbs too. I just had these lying around because I cooked something else earlier this week. So yeah, we're going to chop these all up really finely and add them to all this lovely goodness. Herbs in. Let me get some of that sage up in there. Oh, wow, that is old. Shit. It'll be fine. You can do this recipe with canned lentils or with dried lentils. Either way is good. Generally, I think it's better with dried lentils, but I don't have that much time today. So drain the water from these and put these to one side. I'm using 2 or 3 cans today. I'm not sure. Push it down, then you just kind of do that. Oh, we lost some boys along the way. That's okay. Now we add a little olive oil to our lovely, lovely mixture of herbs and vegetables, just like a nice little glug. And we stir that around. That was quite a lot of oil. We stir that around and then we get cooking it. To coat everything just a little bit, and then we're going to put our heat on. But first we need to make sure we salt and pepper it. I already did the pepper, so we're going to add like 2 big pinches of salt. Lovely, lovely. Yeah, and then we cook. And pepper. I feel like this dish actually can take a lot of pepper. What we're going to do is we're going to stir that on like a medium heat until all of these things are sort of semi-translucent and sort of wilted down and they've become friends. And we're going to need that. If you don't have a kettle, you can boil some water in a pan, or you can even just add it cold and then boil it up in here. Don't worry about that. Stirring this one because you don't want any of the leeks to burn at the bottom of the pan, so you like keep agitating it. It gets smaller and smaller over time. Right, so when your leeks are cooked through like this, what we're going to do is we're going to add some hot water, or cold water if you don't have a kettle, and a stock cube. One moment. All right, let's go. Doesn't really matter how much water you add. You want to make sure that you're coating everything. We're going to reduce this down later anyway. So we give that a nice little stir, just make sure it's kind of all been taken off the bottom of the pan. We cleaned off all the brown bits at the bottom, and then we add our lentils. Yeah, I think maybe 3 cans for this one. I want it to be about 50% leek, 50% lentil. This looks pretty good to me. I think this needs a little bit more water, and then we're just going to kind of like let this bring up to the boil and like kind of cook through the lentils a bit, and then yeah. While that's being brought to the boil, I do want to say this dish is pretty by eye. I have no idea on amounts for this. I'm making a really big batch today. Maybe you want to half all of these quantities or play around, but generally, as long as you're kind of adding all these ingredients, if you like, we're going to reduce this down so that it's a lot drier, and then we're going to add our creme fraiche. Looking nice. Now we're going to add the creme fraiche. This is going to cool it right down and stop it from boiling. Then we're going to reduce it again. So I tend to just add the creme fraiche by eye. You want it to be nice and creamy and a couple shades lighter than this, actually. I'm going to add some more. The tip here is to add the creme fraiche like a little bit at a time because you can't really take it away once it's in there. You want kind of this sort of color. And now we're going to reduce this so that it's a bit thicker and a bit like, yeah, less wet, I guess. Is that we cook this until it's like bubbling again, and then it was reducing in size because it's losing moisture through the steam, and then we taste it, and then we're pretty much close to being done. Side note, if you're lactose intolerant or you're vegan, maybe coconut milk would work here. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't tried that myself, but yeah, if not, it would be really nice without the creme fraiche anyway. All you're trying to do here is just make it not be really watery. So you just cook it until it's good. Make sure you keep stirring so nothing burns at the bottom of the pan. Yeah, this is just waiting now. Roll your lemon so that you break up all the membranes inside, and then we're going to cut it in half, and then we're going to add juice to taste in a little minute. Pro tip, add your creme fraiche after you've reduced it more than I have, because now that I've added the creme fraiche, it's taken a little while to reduce. If it feels like it's taking forever to reduce, same here. If you really want to speed up the process, you can just add some flour. That'll thicken it up and that'll save you a lot of time. Yeah. Another thing you can do, you don't have to do this step. I like to do this. Is add a little cumin to the thing, maybe about that much. That'll help thicken it out too. When it comes to squeezing a lemon, make sure you're kind of doing it through your fingers. I do it with both hands, but I can't, so I'm probably just going to have to fish out some seeds. But yeah, add like half, maybe just under half the juice of the lemon. Really helps cut through the fat. So at this point, you actually have a lot of choices. You can add pretty much whatever you like. Maybe some chopped up sausages, some garlic, maybe some carrots, and let them just like stew in it. Maybe you should have added them earlier if you were going to add carrots, actually. But yeah, you can kind of go crazy. So at this point, you actually have a lot of choices. You can add pretty much whatever you like. Maybe some chopped up sausages, some garlic, maybe some carrots, and let them just like stew in it. Maybe you should have added them earlier if you were going to add carrots, actually. But yeah, you can kind of go crazy. All right, I caved and I've added a carrot. If you're going to add a carrot at this point, make sure you slice it really thin or it just won't cook through at all. Right, so we're basically done. It's nice and thick. Now you've got season to taste, maybe some pepper. If it's too fatty, add some salt and lemon. If it's too salt, add a little bit of extra fat. All those kinds of things. Nice balance. You can serve this with kind of anything. Yeah. Chicken, but you can serve it maybe with some sausages or whatever, or just on its own. I definitely have eaten this on its own quite a few times. Yeah, good for you. You cooked. Hell yeah. Nice. Yes. Now we just have to wash up. One last little tip. If you want it to be that little bit extra creamier and indulgent, you can add butter. You know, can. Not have to, can.